Good evening and welcome to Sports Federation TV. This is the show where we talk about all different kinds of sport, from bowling, bodyboarding, basketball, baseball, softball, and a range of other codes of sport. Tonight we focus our attention to surfing, Cape Fight League, and a little bit of something else. Stay tuned, don't go away, we've got lots in store for you. The Sports Council is the Western Province area, and we look after all codes of sport, all 73 codes of sport. We talk about a range of different activities that happen within Cape Town. We talk about what makes Cape Town special, why people need to participate in sport, and how exciting it is to talk about sport and to be active in sport. We're joined in studio by two well-known surfers who are going to tell us a bit about what they do and what makes sport exciting for them. Tasha, you well?
Yes, good, thank you.
Good, welcome. Rory, you good?
Awesome, thank you very much.
Rather distinguished little shape you have there.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Tell us a bit about that shape.
Just growth, eh? My wife enjoys it.
Is that what happens? Is that part of the surfing lifestyle?
I wouldn't say so, no. You know, more part of who I am as an individual, I suppose.
And that needs to stay there as an individual?
For the time being, as
Okay.
you know, as long as it's liked by the important person in my life, it'll stay. Until then, I'll shave it off.
And she makes the rules to a point.
I think so. It's a good diplomatic kind of way to go.
Tasha, surfing seems to be a passion of yours for a while now.
Yes, yeah, all I know is surfing. People ask me, what do you do? I'm like, my answer is, I'm all things surf. And I've been very fortunate and blessed to be surfing for 23 years now. It really is all I know, and I've been able to travel the world, meet new people, see new places, and now give back to the sport that's given me so much.
Give us some of the highlights of the past 23 years. Give
Sure.
us just
a
snippets.
few.
Yeah, just a few.
Very fortunate to represent our country, represent South Africa as both a junior and a senior, and now coming in as a coach for the South African junior team. A multiple South African champion, and very involved with different projects through transformation and development.
So you're a champion in shortboard, longboard, because I know there's a difference. I've learned that.
Well done. Yes, there is a difference. I'm predominantly shortboarding, but as I get older, I'm definitely starting to go the longboarding route. But ideally, anything that has to do with the ocean and riding waves, that's what I'm about.
And that's the exciting part. It's about spending time in the ocean.
That's it.
Rory, your involvement?
Well, I've been surfing for a really long time, for almost, I think, 35 years, around about. Grew up in Fishhook. I've competed at a Western Province level, both juniors and most recently masters. And now I'm, giving back to the sport through a foundation that I run called Share the Stoke Foundation South Africa, and we gift boards in and around Cape Town and South Africa to programs that assist in the development of the sport and the transformation of it.
We'll explore that in a bit.
No
Hold
problem.
on to that. Dash, tell me a bit about surfing as it is now. I mean, often you hear people say, "Oh, we're going down to the surf. We're gonna just chuck our board in the car. Let's go and play." Is it that simple?
Look, it's that simple to get down to the beach. To actually get in the water and surf, it's slightly different, and it definitely does help with maybe going for a couple of lessons and understanding the ocean a little bit better, understanding surf rules and surf etiquette, and understanding the equipment, because it can be dangerous.
Give us some of the etiquette that one needs to take into consideration.
Oh, there's rules in the ocean, so it's usually meant to be one person per wave, and it's their right of way, and depending on which way the wave is breaking, either right or left, that defines who actually has the inside position. But like we know with the ocean, it changes all the time, every day, high tide, low tide. So yes, you're definitely seeing more people get into the water and enjoy surfing. I think with board design, it's changed and made it a little bit easier. And I think it's a great hobby and a sport. It's an amazing sport, and what's happening with someone like Share the Stoke Foundation, what they're doing for disadvantaged youth, especially in Cape Town at the moment, it's almost like surf therapy, and that's something that I'm really passionate about and want to get more involved with.
And talking about your involvement, you've spoken a bit about your involvement with the youth.
Yeah.
Take us through that a bit.
Okay,
Your coaching experience.
Yeah, I've been. It was a natural progression for me to go from being a professional surfer to do surf coaching and and make some money out of it. I didn't think, back in the day, I became a surf coach because I knew how to surf. Nowadays, there's accredited surf instructor courses, and it's a little bit more educated, and there's more structure. But through working with Surfing South Africa, which is our national federation of the sport in the country, my portfolio was development, transformation, talent ID, and through that, I started getting involved with different associations or different projects. And you know, now I almost contract myself out to Surfing South Africa, but I'm able to utilize my services and my experience and come in where they need me. And one of the biggest things is surf therapy and helping kids get off the streets and get into the water. Hopefully keep them in school, but at least keep them in the water. It's a much safer place, you know.
Do you find that having a contact with kids in the sporting environment gives them the discipline to want to continue schooling? I mean, you just touched on schooling now.
Absolutely. I think that most sports help teach you about discipline. And I think whether it's a team sport or even an individual sport, there has to be some form of discipline in order to succeed and achieve goals that you set for yourself. So I do think it's really important. And surfing is something that has never been big in schools, but I do believe that's going to change. And we're going to chat a little bit later about things, but it's definitely helping disadvantaged youth. They want to surf. Once that bug bites them, they want to go surfing. So when I say we're going to meet at 8 o'clock on the corner, I'm going to come pick you up and take you surfing, they'll be there. And I hope slowly with that, they'll know that going to school is a good thing and a positive thing for them.
For sure.
Definitely.
Rory, and that's interesting that Tash mentioned that, because often the youth of today don't have a concept of time. And with sport, it gives them that discipline to know 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock. If you're not there, I'm going. And you're stranded. You can't get to the beach.
Absolutely, you can't get to the beach and do what you have been introduced to. Surfing in that context becomes a family, because I think the kids of these youth that we're referring to are searching for that, and it provides that, and that because generally surfers lead by example, they do realize that school is very much part of what they're about to embark on, you know, and that together, you know, pushes them in a more positive direction, which motivates them accordingly.
And something's just struck me, that often people perceive surfers to be these laid back, oh man, just hang out. But yet you have so much discipline, as you just said now, 8 o'clock, meet you on the corner. Is that still predominant, that you have those guys who are just laid back, but yet they're still committed?
Well, I think as surfers, yes, we are more chilled and relaxed people. We're out in nature, okay? It almost becomes natural for us. So I'm a very patient person. I'm a very relaxed person. But there's timelines, there's deadlines, and I believe people need to be accountable for whatever choice you make in your life at whatever age, you know. And with surfing, that's what teaches kids. You make a choice to go for the big set wave or the smaller wave. You make a choice to drop in your friend and make them angry or not, or share waves and give them waves, you know. So surfing is about adapting, because our conditions change every day, and I definitely think it teaches you accountability and discipline.
But it also teaches you perception, because you need to read things better and you need to have a better understanding of people.
Yes.
Like you just said now, going out on the wave.
It directly relates to life outside of that. And for me, surfing is very much a medicine, in a sense. And that is what works for me, and I think it resonates with a lot of people, like Tasha and lots of other surfers we both know, you know, where we need it in order to balance our life, which a lot of the times is so unbalanced, you know, in the way in which society is.
We've spoken a lot about life. Let's take it a step closer to share the stoke. Tell us a bit about that. What's it about?
Share the Stoke is a foundation that was started by a friend of mine who realized the need for kids to have surfboards, and what we've done over the years is we've acquired sponsorship, which I then gift in the form of the surfboard here to foundations that use surfing as an empowerment tool in Cape Town and in South Africa.
What does a machine like this cost? I mean, people would hardly call it a machine, but I think
this particular machine probably retails for about 6,500 rand, and my foundation is sponsored by Firewire Surfboards, headed up by an ex-South African, Mark Price, we gift these. I get 50 boards a year, which I gift to enable the development of surfing in South Africa. But I also gift and I recycle used surfboards, and I gift them too, because the demand for surfboards is huge and it outweighs what I can actually supply.
And that's a good thing, because that means there's a need and a desire for people who want to participate.
Absolutely.
More than anything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So every year I get rid of 50 of these brand new boards.
Sure.
And we're going into the third year now as Share the Stoke Foundation South Africa, and it's been amazing how surfers within these groups that we support have achieved enormously in the sport of surfing in South Africa.
So are there still people from day one who are still participating in the sport through your activities?
Absolutely, yeah. No, they're participating, they're growing, they're developing through the ages, and surfing has become that family that I was referring to earlier, rather than gangsterism and so on and so forth, which in essence is also them wanting a family, but it's more of a negative aspect to it.
So now that you've introduced these folk into surfing, have they achieved to be part of Tasha's provincial team as an example?
Absolutely.
Are there some success stories?
Yes, there are. And Tasha is probably more informed than I am, but for example, the president's team, which is made up of a lot of transformative surfers, I think 5 of the juniors this year were surfing Share the Stoke Foundation surfboards, for example.
And excelling at South African junior surfing champs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
So the development team is a team put together by Surfing South Africa. You've got your various provincial teams. These are the kids that just didn't make the cut. They surfed all the contests, they surfed all the trials, and they were almost as a reserve or one step lower than that. These kids were put together to form a team to still be a part of the biggest junior surfing event in the country, which is South African Junior Champs.
Do you find that in year one, they're in that team, and in year two, they work harder to be in the first team or the second team?
Look, ideally, you want to get your provincial colours, and then from there get your national colours and represent South Africa, you know. So this is just a stepping stone in doing that. It's giving them the opportunity to surf against South Africa's best junior surfers and see how they weigh up. And there's a few kids that are riding these boards that are super talented, and they would never have achieved the results they achieved there if they weren't on such good boards.
Yes.
These boards are top end in regards to surfboards. They really are some of the best boards that I've ever ridden, and that was just a personal choice for me. But I've been watching these kids grow, usually from a bit of a step back and not always being totally involved within the provincial team side of things, and it's just beautiful to watch them. With anything, if you've got good equipment, it is going to help you achieve better.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got good coaching and mentorship, it's going to help you improve in whatever way that is.
And that's the important part, is that people, yes, in your case, you have the mentorship. In a lot of codes of sport and a lot of other activities, people don't have the mentorship. It's a hand out rather than a hand me up.
Well, this is the thing with Share the Stoke, is Rory doesn't just hand a board out because he feels sorry for someone. You've got to work for it. You've got to, whether it's setting a very small goal or just showing your presence and consistency, coming back every time, so that it's not a hand me out, it's not a hand me down.
Yeah.
It's teaching those kids to work for something.
Exactly, and I work very closely with the directors and managers of these various organizations that empower these children. And it's up to them to choose the kids which they feel would most benefit.
Yeah.
However, it stays within their organization, which allows other kids to also use the equipment in order to develop their surfing. And every year I re-gift to these organizations to allow them to access a good board so that they can improve their level of surfing.
Quality equipment.
Yeah.
So often 2 or 3 people would be using one board, as an example.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
fair to say,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you don't have enough, so people need to share.
Yeah.
And that's also a life lesson that people need to learn.
Absolutely.
Correct. That's right. And it's a motivational tool too. Where they look at peers within their groups that may achieve something like this, for example. They then realize, hey, I can also achieve that, and that in itself encourages them to not only stay within their program, but also to continue with their surfing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How do people find out more about your foundation?
I can be reached Share the Stoke Foundation South Africa on Facebook, or Rory at sharethestokeffoundation.co.za.
Last comment.
Yes.
What makes surfing special for you? Why would you recommend it to anybody?
Because you can leave all your troubles on land and go surfing.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's an in-between world.
Yeah.
You're not in space and you're not on land.
Yeah.
No one can mess with you.
Yeah, you
apart
can't
from the
get
other
hold of
surfer.
me. Yeah. You can't get hold of me on my phone.
Yeah.
You know I'm going surfing, whether it be an hour or 3. But and you're just one with nature. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. It's a really beautiful.
There was a
thing.
very famous surfer once called Mickey Dora who explained it quite nicely in a movie that when he was riding the barrel of a wave and the curl was coming over his head, he visualized like his screaming kids and his car payment and his rent and his mortgage.
All
And that's
just-
what it's like.
All just washing
It
away.
just
All washing
washes
away,
away.
yeah.
That's why only a surfer knows the feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come and try it someday.
You
Please
must.
do.
No, it'll
Please
happen.
do.
Soon.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for your time. It's been fun.
Cool.
Continue the good work.
Thank you very much, and thank you
Thanks
for
for
your
having
time.
us.
You're welcome. Let's take a break. We'll see you now.